naturally and hold on to it where I wouldn't lose all the water gain that steroids give you. You can get it quick. You'll puff up real quick. You'll bloat up real quick. But as soon as you come off your gear, it goes away real quick. So your mind left to, well, no discipline. You're going to let bad thoughts come in. You're going to let bad thinking come in. And then if you're weak and not disciplined, you're going to act on that. So that's why I talk this way to you. That's why the majority of the things I talk about, when you all ask for, give me a psychological lesson. All of my lectures, every time I talk, it's all psychological. It's predominantly that because the technicals I've already taught. How you're going to manage yourself is a discovery on your part. I don't know what you bring to the table as a trader. I don't know what you're wrestling with. I don't know. Maybe you don't even know what you're wrestling with. But you will determine what that is if you're honest in your journal, and you have to keep that journal private because that very reason. If you're not honest, you won't discover the things that's holding you back. I kept myself from being honest in my journals for a long time. I was wasting my time beating myself up in the journal. And the reason why I brought up the whole working out and trying to get big is I would cuss myself out in the mirror, at the gym, on the way home. Like, you're weak. You're you can imagine, I'm not going to use the language here, but I would tear myself down because I was trying to be a drill sergeant to myself. And that doesn't really work. It didn't work for me. And until I learned how to master anxiety, I learned positive self-talk. I allowed only positive things into my mind, and I nurtured myself. I encouraged myself. And then I started basically treating me like something that mattered, not a failure that needed to be abused every day. And I did it through my journal. And I had this epiphany one day. I'm out, walking around, looking around, and thinking, I want to do this so bad, but I always feel terrible every day. I wake up excited when I first get out of bed, but then I remember that I didn't do well yesterday or the few days before that, and I keep making the same mistakes. And I now beat myself up, and I would put this in the journal. I'm literally cussing myself out, saying I'm pathetic. I can't do that. Can't do that. And that is what many times men will tell you, and other men will encourage their friends. They think they're encouraging. Come on, don't be a PUSSY. Come on, you little BITCH. Don't be a little BITCH. I was never encouraged by that type of stuff. But in my youth, I thought by talking to myself that way, it would get me to do it. No, it didn't. It didn't work like that. When I started talking to myself intellectually and nurturing myself, carefully selecting the words that I wanted to speak into my own journal for reflection purposes, I held my personhood to a higher degree of importance, significance, and reverence. I began to love myself because I didn't love myself then. And if you love something, if you love someone genuinely, you're going to nurture them. You're going to care for them. You're going to be careful not to hurt, mislead, or harm them. And that's what's living inside you right now. That's that future trader. You don't realize it. You think that you got to whip them up, beat them in conformity. It doesn't work that way. You're wrestling with your own mind, and you're competing against the most shrewdest individuals in the world. These markets are meant to take from you, not give. They're meant to take. And you can talk all the man of war, build yourself up, pump up, pep rally yourself. You do all that stuff you want. You want to do pre-workout drinks and stuff. Yeah, I'm going to drink Monster, all these energy drinks, and I'm going to sit here and I'm going to start trading. And you're going to blow it. When you're trading, you need to be able to filter all this stuff out. You don't want to take anything that's going to hop you up. because you want to be able to think clearly. And when you're drinking all these energy drinks, you're cranking your heart faster than it needs to be. It's beating, working harder than it has to be. So your brain is constantly working on trying to keep your heart rate up because all the stimulants you put in it. And you can't be restful and focused. And the smallest little thing you do wrong is going to be amplified well beyond what's reasonable. And you feel terrible. And all the sugar crash that comes down from that later on expounds on it and builds it up to now you're going to be regretting more than just what you did. It's now how you feel. And you start eating clean, removing all the toxins from everything, no processed foods. What's this got to do with trading? Turn me off. Don't ever come back to my videos. Don't ever come and listen to me ever again. You aren't ready. I promise you, you are not ready. If you've never fasted, if you've never purged your body of impurities, have you gone 90 days without any sugar ever? Have you ever did a 0 carb diet for 90 days? You ever done that? The clarity that your body has after doing that, no processed foods, simple 1 ingredient foods. That's what I put myself through. I needed it. Something was going on in my body. I didn't know what was going on. But my heart rate rested was 125. 125 beats per minute. It was working like I'm dying. And I didn't understand what was going on. My blood sugar started going all over the place, up, down, up, down, up, down, all over the place. No idea what was going on. 0 idea what was going on. 1 minute, my blood sugar's at 145, and 20 minutes later, it's 60. That's not normal, folks. So I said I had to take myself away from all of you, and I purged everything out of my diet. Broccoli, chicken, fish, sweet potato, water, lots of butter, sunflower seeds, walnuts, pecans. That's what I eat. That's it. 2 times a day. That was it. 18 hours fasted before I had the first meal. The first 8 days sucked. It sucked. I was starving, hungry, shakes, head hurting, couldn't sleep. But on the 9th day, if you've known me for any length of time, you've known that I've always slept about 4 hours, get up, do whatever I got to do. And then some other time of the day, I would take another 4-hour sleep. That's it. And once in between, I'd take a cat nap here and there, maybe 10 minutes, something like that. And I was fine. But eventually, turning 53, my body's not youthful anymore. And it was processing things differently. So I had to purge everything. My rested heart rate now is 50 beats per minute, which is athletic. My blood pressure also was out of whack. My blood pressure is 110/60. I'm perfect. It's 0. There's no concerns with blood pressure. I have an 82 fasted glucose reading. That's my average at 82. And my blood sugar never goes above 112. Because every time you eat, insulin will be released in your bloodstream and it'll go up. But if you eat anything that has sugar or high carbs or processed foods, it will spike up and stay up all day long. If you keep constantly eating, you keep yourself in this condition where you're going to develop insulin resistance. My vision was affected. My vision has improved a little bit, but now I'm starting to see spots. Like I see like these brown like blobs. And sometimes, I mean, you hear me talking on the live streams, and I'm looking at the charts. I'm wrestling with trying to move my eyes in the chart in a way where I can see it, because it's like someone poured brown ink that's kind of like faded. I can see everything around, but those little spots, they come out of nowhere. Sometimes it looks like I'm seeing a bird or something flying around, because if I move and pan my eyes around, I'm like, what is that? And it's these spots. They come and go, and I don't know what it is. So I got to go get my eyes checked. But Youth is a wonderful thing, but eventually it fades. And if you don't take care of yourself, you'll have problems with your health. And now I can sleep 7, 8 hours all night long, and I don't have any blood sugar issues. I don't have any crashes. I don't have any shakiness. I don't have any spikes. I don't have any kind of irregularities in my blood pressure. And my heart is relaxed. And it was kind of scary, actually. And if you don't make changes in your personal diet when you're young, what's the purpose of having all the money in the world if you don't have your health? If you don't have your health, having lots of money is useful. It's only useful to some degree. But if I would have crashed out, had a heart attack, and dropped dead, what good is all the money I have? There's no use. Sure, my family's well off, great, but I'm sure they would rather have me. I'd like to think they would. So I give you life lessons that these are things I never thought about. I never thought that I was going to have health problems. I never thought that I'd have health issues that were related to my blood sugar. I didn't see it coming. But there's diabetes on both sides of my family, a lot, and something happened metabolically in my body last spring, and it carried its way into this year again. So I completely cold turkey said that's just the way I'm going to do it. I'm going to one ingredient food, 2 meals, 18 hours fasted before I eat. And once I eat the last time, I got to wait 18 hours before I eat again. And my energy level is so high. I don't get tired. I don't fall into hunger. I don't actually get hungry per se until I get past that 18 hours. And if I've had something like a late meal, if I eat later on, like my wife says, look, you want to have some chicken, you want to have, some sweet potato. Yeah, she's eating and she wants to have a conversation with me. So I'll sit down and I'll eat like a quarter of a breast or something like that, or a thigh, something, whatever. I always pay for it the next day. I find myself getting hungry when I normally am not, when I break that cycle of 18 hours fasted. But it only takes a couple days to get back in sync, and then I'm fine. But I can tell you this, my mental clarity has never been like it is right now. Like I don't have any kind of brain fog. Even like when I wake up, boom, I'm sharp. Like I'm really, really dialed in. And I think that if all of you would try that, regardless of whether you have health issues or not, you should try to do it. Literally purge yourself of all processed foods, no sugar, zero sugar. That means no fruits like bananas. I loved bananas. And when I started monitoring my blood sugar, I realized that it would spike my blood sugar up really high. And even half a banana was too much. So I don't eat them at all anymore. And the first 3 weeks of me doing this, I started having like dizzy spells. And I found out it was just simply me having a low vitamin E deficiency. So I started adding sunflower seeds and broccoli because initially it was green beans, carrots. And carrots, I found that kind of spiked me up a little bit too. But all these things matter, young men that are sitting there. Maybe you're tuning out. Maybe you're not wanting to listen to this stuff. I promise you, eventually you're going to have something happen in your body where you're going to want to hear this kind of stuff and think that, wow, there's an answer to this. And my point is this, I don't eat nowhere as much food as I used to. I have more energy and I rarely find hunger. Unless I break the 18-hour fast, I don't get hungry. I eat at scheduled times because I eat for fuel, and that's it. And I wish I felt like this the majority of my life. Like I've never felt this way before. I was eating meals all the time, trying to keep a weight at a level where I could bulk up and then slim down, bulk up, slim down. And then in the last couple of years, it was like my metabolism was acting wild. It was going all over the place. And issues with my back. And I don't want to be on prescriptions. I don't want to be on anti-inflammatory steroids for not for big muscles, but for anti-inflammatory reasons. Coming off of it causes problems, and maybe all those things compound to a worst case scenario. So I've completely purged everything. And I think that fasting, even if it's a 36-hour fast, you'll discover how hard that is, because many of you probably eat high sugar, high carb, and you probably eat more than you really need to. If you can purge yourself of that, you feel clean. You're able to think clearly. Stress is like non-existent. You can easily fall asleep. It's amazing. If I lay my head down, I can go to sleep like that. And I sleep throughout the entirety of the night. And for 25 years, I haven't had that. I couldn't sleep. Like, it was a lifestyle of insomnia. I never got tired. I don't have to have a job. I didn't get tired. So I never felt like I needed it. My body wouldn't let me, so therefore I didn't worry about it. But something happened in the 50s. My body said, listen, you're not young anymore. So we had to do things differently now. And since you haven't been picking up on what the clues have been, we're just going to start shutting things down and get your attention this way. And it was very scary. But I'm thankful that I feel like I have a grasp on what it is I should be doing, whatever length of time I have left on this rock. And my encouragement to you is to love yourself enough that, sure, working towards gaining a better understanding about what you should do financially with your market money and investments and your trades and making all the money in the world. It's wonderful. But you have to have, at the beginning of all that, you have to have a pursuit of wellness. And I thought I had a pursuit of that. Like, I thought I had that. And I didn't. I was doing things that my body couldn't endure anymore. It was fighting back. And I was not willing to make changes because of habit. And I promise you, you don't want to feel the pain that hit me in my back and went across my shoulders and down my arms. And it hit me 2 times. And I thought for sure that was a heart attack. Emergency room, EKG came back fine. MRI came back okay. And I was like, okay, Lord, if that's the warning, I'm listening. I'm going to make changes. So you shouldn't have to require a health scare to live well and eat well. And the things that you're putting in your body, lots of alcohol, smoking weed, natural. The Bible says all herbs God made in his goodness. And don't give me all that. Don't give me all that. Okay. I'm all for CBD oil. If you have inflammation, I've done it. I did it. Okay. I've done that. And I think there's medicinal reasons for it. Okay. But when you're doing it just to feel outside of yourself, you got to question what you're really doing that for. Because I promise you, if you find success doing this and you find yourself making lots of money and being able to afford whatever it is you want to afford, and you're not worried about living up the expectations of your friends and family and your coworkers, or even what you think you should feel as an individual, when you get past all that stuff, living superficially, you won't want to do weed. You won't want to do drugs. You want to do nothing like that. You'll want to be in the moment, savoring every moment of clarity that you have and the ability to be able to do whatever you want to do at the drop of a hat, just like that. And it's on your rules, your timing. That's power. That's yielding self-control on a whole different level with means. That means you have the resources, the skill set, the influx of money, capital constantly coming into your equity by your own efforts that will not run out, doesn't stop. Only time it stops is when you take a break and you go on vacation and you choose not to do any trading because you want to detox. Take yourself away from the marketplace. Managing stress, managing what you put into your body. I promise you, you start living successfully, you won't want to put that stuff in your body because you feel great. You feel in tune. And you're going to find that making money is easier when you're like this. I observe now the level of center I hold right now in my body, in my way of thinking, than I have never experienced before. And I wish you all could feel what that feels like, because I feel centered. I feel at peace. My mind doesn't race 1,000. Like, I used to have a constant flow of limitless thoughts constantly getting in front of my mind. And I felt like I had to push them all away with a stick, like beat them away so I could just focus on anything. And I don't have that right now. Like, I don't have that at all. July 20th, I told myself I'm going to submit myself to 90 days. I'm going to purge my body of everything. Now, did I cheat? Did I do things that I shouldn't have done, on certain days? Like for my birthday, I had a scoop of ice cream, vanilla, on my birthday. My sugar went to 165. I walked for an hour and brought it down to 80. That's the key. As soon as you eat whatever it is that you're eating, walk for 20 minutes. It don't have to be high paced. You burn that sugar off. Your insulin doesn't spike up. It doesn't fight your body, because as soon as insulin is released in your body, it is causing havoc. It's causing all kinds of problems. You don't realize it, but it's a huge disruptor to our natural chemistry. Hormonally, it messes everything up. And I feel stress like anybody else would if it's real stress. Like the thing, like I always worried about my kids, always as a father, worried about, what are they going to do if something happened to me? What are they going to do? Having money, they could blow it. They could recklessly do stupid stuff, get themselves in trouble, and then get into litigation with somebody or something, and then lose it. All the things I worked for are wasted then. Would I worry about it if I'm dead? No. But in my mind, all these years, I've worried about that. How my kids going to manage what they're being left with? I don't worry about that now anymore. I don't worry about none of that stuff. Stress, like literally, like water on a duck's back, just rolls off me, and I don't dwell on that on thoughts obsessively. It's like I'm just going to come out and say it. Okay, you guys can think whatever you want to think about it. I'm of the opinion that the things that they put in our food now are meant to disrupt our wellness, not just make us unhealthy, but it almost invites high stress. And who am I to be worried about anything? I don't have a job. I have plenty of money. I have a wonderful home and family. Until recently, my health has been perfect. So where's the stress? The only stress I've had ever was my own children. The mistakes they make, getting in accidents, telling them don't drive across the yellow line, don't speed, don't do this, and they're all the boxes checking them. Come on, that's stressful. I want them to avoid the problems I had when I was a young man, but they have to make the same mistakes, I guess. I don't know. They don't learn otherwise. But I want them not to make those mistakes. I want them to say, you did it better than me. But they don't want to listen like anybody else does. You didn't listen to your parents. If I would have had my parents, I probably wouldn't have listened to them either. And I'm thankful that it happened this way because I listened to my grandfather. He stepped in that role. But my point in all this is, if you allow outside interference from other people in circumstance to set the tone for how you're going to behave, conduct yourself, and work, and the food that you consume, the stimulants that you consume, if they're not making it better for you in terms of clarity, if you're stimulating yourself or dulling your senses, you're making this harder for yourself and you don't even realize it. I promise you, if you try this, purge all processed foods out, get it all out of there. If it comes in a box, no matter what it is, don't eat it. One ingredient things, vegetables. I don't do much. I eat blueberries. Um, I had to stop eating apples because that spiked my sugar up pretty high too. So apples and bananas, forget about it. Blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, I'm not a fan of, but um, regular yellow or white potatoes, cut that completely out. That's a bad carbohydrate starch. It's just not good for you. It just basically becomes sugar when it goes right in your body. The sweet potato, you think the word sweet in there is like, oh, it's going to be a problem. It's actually not. It actually gives you a really nice burn for the carbohydrate that it is. So I usually eat one sweet potato that's divided over 2 meals each day, and that's it. Once in a while, I'll have a soup that's homemade, and it's just simply chicken broth and some carrots that are sliced up, but not many of them. Some celery and whole chicken breast or thigh. I try to eat the dark meat because the fats is what I want. I eat a whole stick of butter every single day between both meals. And I know some of you are going to think, oh, it's a lot of cholesterol. Nope. It's actually better for you. Your liver literally creates more cholesterol than you could ever consume. And the people that have a high cholesterol um, reading, they actually have far less heart problems and heart related issues because your body produces the cholesterol to lay down like asphalt. When there's disruptions because of hormones, insulin, insulin resistance, then you get cortisol and all these types of all kinds of stress related hormone releases in our body. It tears up our arteries and blood vessels. And that harm inside the blood vessels, the only thing that our body can do is produce the cholesterol from our liver produces that, and it goes in and lays down patchwork on those injuries. But it's important for you to live a stress-free life because the more you stress, the more your internal blood vessels, the layer inside there, they're getting these little rips and tears because of the hormones that's constantly rushing through you. So if you're in trades and you're constantly stressing yourself out, young men, which has got to do with trading, if you're doing all the wrong things, over leveraging your accounts, blowing them because you're pushing too hard to try to get something that's not necessary. Take small little pieces. But I've seen this other guy, Michael. He's your student. She's your student. He's trading with volume profile. That's better than ICT stuff, apparently. You see all these things and you're inspired to do dumb stuff. Well, if they did it, I'm going to do it faster because I'll just take the big risk and I'll link 20 accounts together and then I'll try to do it faster. Because once I make big money, then I can worry less. No, you're not. You're not going to worry less. Even if that happened, you're going to worry even more. What if it was just a one hit wonder? It was, but you're going to worry about it in everything you do. And when you're constantly worrying and stressing, your heart rate goes up. And when your heart rate goes up, your blood pressure goes up. And when your blood pressure goes up, all kinds of things are going on inside your body. And you're living as a youthful person, placing great deals of stress on your mind and your body. And it takes its toll eventually. And I think I'm actually getting to the age where it's now manifesting. So I have to be careful with myself and allow myself to heal. I can literally feel myself healing every single day. When I work out, my ability to work out the very next day is easier now. When it used to hurt, leg day sucked. Like legs suck. It's always the 2 days after you work your legs. It's the worst. I can't walk up and down my stairs without that shakiness, feeling like, oh, my legs are going to give out. That's the worst. But you have to do it. And I don't have as much pain now because I don't give myself anything except for pure food. And I go 18 hours fasted. So that allows my body to heal. But if you're eating before you go to bed, no matter what it is, your body's working to digest that food, not heal. When we sleep, our body's designed to heal. So if you're putting yourself through a lot of stress trading with big money, pursuing big payouts, that is very stressful. You're putting yourself through the ringer. And you don't realize the damage that you're causing. Even though you're young, there's still damage being done. And if you're sitting, which is the worst thing to be doing, if you're sitting for a long period of time, stop. Stand up. Get yourself a rocker board. It's kind of like a actually came with my lift desk. I don't recall if I added it to. I think there's a YouTube video I put up where people were asking me what's my trade station look like. I showed the monitors and whatnot and the lift desk, and I think I shared how you can get one that's close to what mine was. But at any rate, it came with like this big slab of wood, and it has like this half of a sphere underneath of it. So if you stand on top of it, you can constantly work towards balancing yourself. So it allows your legs to not to be cramped up. So your chance of getting a blood clot sitting too long, and it can happen. There's children out there that are, adolescents that end up getting blood clots because they sit there all day long on video games, and their blood circulation's cut off. Well, that can happen to you. There's people in the world that have just simply sat out in their garden, kneeling on their knees for just 15 minutes because of the diet, the type of things they've done to themselves. When they stood up, a blood clot already formed and goes to their lung, goes to their brain, goes to their heart, dead. And they can't bring you back from that. So, when you consider the things that you're doing to yourself and all the risks you're compounding on top of just trying to make money and not losing it, these are things that you probably never considered or thought about. And I know as a young man, I didn't think about these things. Like I didn't think about them. But because now I have young adults as children and they're trying to do what they see dad do, I want them to know that, listen, I didn't really do everything the right way. Like I thought that I was doing the right things, but I really wasn't doing the right things in a lot of ways. And protecting yourself from what you're consuming, how you're staying in a static sitting position all the time, not healthy, not healthy at all. Staying in a high stress condition, not healthy at all. And the way you combat that is only eating 1 or 2 times a day. Don't eat junk food. Don't eat processed in the box food. Okay. Never fast food. And then lots of water, and keep yourself purged like that. And you're going to find that you sleep better. You don't feel that stress of being in the trades as much as you'll feel it. And I'm actually inspired, not inspired, but I'm trying to inspire you to do it because I want to see the feedback from some of you that take this challenge. 90 days is a long time when you're going through it. But when you look back, you're like, it wasn't really that big of a deal time wise. But there was 3 times in that 90 days where I kind of quote unquote cheated. I had an extra meal one time because I felt like I needed it. Like I felt like I absolutely needed it. And just to give myself peace of mind, I just had a cup of broccoli and half a stick of butter melted over top of it. And yes, that's a lot of butter, but it's a fat and it's healthy. And you actually need butter because what's in butter actually is the only thing that gives you health coating inside of your intestines. We don't produce it. You can't get it from anything else. It actually comes from butter. So if I'm not mistaken, I think it's called butyrate, but it comes from butter, not margarine. Don't eat margarine. That's not butter. And anything that sounds like it comes out of the crock, what's it called? The crock shed or shed crock. Something, it's in a gray tub. When we were younger, my mom would put leftover spaghetti in it. They used to be Saturday morning cereal bowls for me. Country crock, I think is what it's called. That's not butter. Okay, I can't believe it's not butter. It's not. Don't eat it. So anything margarine, don't eat that stuff. When you go to movies, that's not butter. Don't get buttered popcorn because you're getting margarine and it's garbage and it's wrecking your body all terribly. So that's why I had to get a house that had a theater in it because I like watching movies. I like popcorn. You can eat it. It's safe. It doesn't hurt you. And I put lots and lots of butter on it. I've always ate it that way. And it's good for you. And bottom line, it's good for you. And then once in a while, I'll shade up the chicken in the morning to eggs. I'll have 4 eggs scrambled up. And that's it. That's all there is to it. I don't have any kind of snacks, no snacking, no nothing, no fruit and vegetables in between meals, just that. And I am fit. Like I'm fit. I'm sitting at 190. My body is tight. My flexibility is coming back. I have no back inflammation at all. 0. None. And that's the first time it's felt like that since 2009 when I wrecked myself on the motorcycle. March 9th of 2009, 1:30 in the afternoon. That was the day I probably should have checked out, but the Lord said, not today. But I've been living with chronic pain since that day, and it's been getting worse and worse and worse. But after 2 months, it went away. 2 months of living with a different lifestyle of how I'm choosing when to eat and how long I'm sleeping completely changed everything. My ability to spend time in the charts is far more focused and clear now than it's ever been. And I just want to inspire you to just take a look at it. I think you're going to find that once you get to this position where you're taking everything out of your system that is not good for you, you're purging it all. Nothing in my body is artificial. No artificial colorings, no artificial sweeteners, no preservatives, none. And it's been a game changer for me. Like for me, I feel like I'm 15 years younger. And when you're 53, that's saying something. So I hope that I've given you something to consider working towards today. I probably bored a lot of you younger folks, and that's okay. I'll be able to live with myself with that. But if you've been wrestling with a lot of anxiety and stress, or having a hard time to rest, if you've been racing with thoughts all the time, I lived that way for a long, long, long time, and I believe I think it's something they put in our food, man. Like I hate to say it, but I think it's intentional. And when you take all that stuff away and any possibility from it getting into your system, it changes everything. Like it changes your ability to think clearly. Your decision making isn't clouded, and maybe some of you will take the initiative and try it. It isn't going to hurt you. If anything, it's going to make you better. It's going to make you healthy. And I'm trying to encourage that because I care about all of you. If I didn't care, I wouldn't talk to you. I wouldn't spend my free time doing this. And you're all going to put this stuff on your YouTube channel. I'm not doing it. I'm not monetizing it. So what's the motivation? I have sincerity between, what it is I want to talk to you about and what my goal is for you to have with it. And it's wellness. That's all. It's not simply enough to make money in the marketplace. You want to be able to live a long, healthy life. And up until recently, I've had that. I've been blessed. But having a health scare is scary, especially when you're entering the years that I'm entering in. I'm entering the end of the warranty years. Okay. So once we get to those years, it's like, well, anything can happen, right? So you want to give yourself all the advantages possible. But if you start living your life young like that, wow, how many years can you potentially add to it? And the importance of having a very low stress life is crucial, especially as a trader, because it is stressful. You are going to have a stress filled life as a trader, unless you do two things. Number one, know exactly what you're doing, when you're going to do it, how you're going to do it, why you're going to do it. And you're comfortable with doing it wrong once in a while, and you have the discipline to say, I didn't do something right. I'm not going to allow my flesh to push me into something I'm not required to do at the time, which is get the money back right now. Take the loss and give yourself permission to be imperfect. Not, I'm going to be a good loser today. No, you're not a loser. You're imperfect. You can flourish being imperfect. You can make millions of dollars being imperfect. Okay. But when you dial in on the words like, I'm gonna call myself a good loser. No, I don't let those kinds of thoughts in my head. I don't let that happen. You shouldn't either. All you're doing is making a small little deviation from calling something that subconsciously will trigger fear, anxiety, guarding. You'll be more concerned about the outcome of everything because you now increase the level of importance because the last time you took a trade, you were a loser. That was a loss. They're going to come. You're going to have losing trades. I'm not trying to say that it's not reality. It is reality. But it's important for you to hold a mindset and a perception around these things that are inevitable and constantly remind yourself that that is part of this whole lifestyle that you're trying to be a part of. You're trying to adopt the most stressful, the most performance oriented career You're trying to be an entrepreneur in the hardest thing in the world, undercapitalized against the hardest opponents in the world in a game that's rigged. So think about that, because that's the real textbook response to what is trading like and what's it like for someone that gets involved. That's it. Now, the first time someone sit down with you and he said, "What are you looking at?" "I'm looking at these charts." "For what?" And they gave you that definition of what it is. Do you want to subscribe to that? Heck no. And you're gonna be questioning yourself even more why they're even worrying about doing it. So what is it? It's the money, right? No, it's not the money. It's the significance that you get doing it well, and the money is the bonus. That's the evidence to the people that doubt you. Look at what I got. But that's not why you're doing it. That's not why anybody does it. They want to feel empowered. They want to be able to look at someone eye to eye and say, "You aren't better than me. Don't talk down to me. Don't tell me to report to work anymore because I'm not coming." That's what they want. They want power. And you can acquire that in this craft. But this craft requires a lot of work and effort, and you got to work hard on yourself first. The easy parts is the trading. And the reason why it feels so hard and complicated, the reason why you're struggling, the reason why you can't get it, here's the secret, and I'm going to close it. You haven't worked through your own problems yet. You're so busy putting out fires or hiding them from yourself and everyone else around you that you can't think straight. You can't think straight. All these things I talk about, you're looking for an easy distraction from the things that you're putting yourself through. I hope he would teach a new model. I hope he would. Why? You already have everything. You aren't doing well with what you've already been given. Why do you want more? Why? Because you want distraction from your inability to identify your personal faults, weaknesses, and shortcomings. And everybody has them. There's no shortage of people in the world with the same types of problems that you have. You're imperfect. You're perfectly imperfect. But you're wrestling through this world trying to hold on to things that you need to just simply let go and put down. Things something probably hurt you years ago, staying in a relationship that's toxic, trying to live up to the expectations of people that don't matter. Think about it. You're trying to impress people that don't care. You're trying to prove that you have things that these people that you don't even like can't afford. Where's the motivation there? What's the point? Who cares if you made $1 million? Who cares if you went out there and bought a whole army of cars and drove them down the block and parked it right in front of their house and said, "See this?" Once they see it, that's it. It's over. It's done. Your life has to mean more than simple things like that. They're shallow. So you have to purge your body, purge your thought process of all these toxic thinkings, and identify the things that's holding you back. I want you to really be honest with yourself. What is it that's messing you up? That makes you impulsive, that makes you want to push a trade on when there's no real reason to do so? What's the real thing? It's not that you want to make the money or get to the payout. You want that for some other external reason. What is that? Because that's the root thing that makes you tick. That's the why. And that why needs to be wholesome. That why you're doing it needs to make sense. It can't be emotionally anchored. It has to be principally oriented. What does that mean? It's got to matter more than just superficially. It's got to matter more than right now. This is the stimuli I would get if I could show the world that I made this much money. That's irrelevant. Nobody cares how much I have. Nobody cares what anybody else has. Once the number's revealed, wow, on to the next one. Who else is going to show what they made today? Who else is going to show what they took a loss on? Who else is going to feel like they did it wrong? That's what social media is cultivating in all of us. Constant stimuli. Something inside of you that's toxic, you're trying to get stimuli from that. That's what it is. That's what's holding you back. And the things that's holding you back are going to be ugly. They're the things that you don't want nobody to know about you. It would embarrass you. It would shame you. It makes you sick when you think about it because you know exactly what I'm talking about with you. Maybe it's something you did, should have done, but didn't do. Whatever it is, you got to put it down. Forgive yourself. Say, okay, I wasn't in a good place at that time when I did those things. I got people I call friends right now, and I'm trying to impress them and rush in through this process, and they're probably not really my friend. Let's test that theory. Cut them off for a little while. Isolate yourself. Build yourself up. If they're still your friends, they're going to be thankful that you came back and hang around with them, and they're going to be excited that you've done well for yourself. You ever think about it that way? Chances are you probably didn't, because I didn't think that way. I wish I would have had somebody that I cared enough to listen to, like you're doing right now. I wish I would have had someone talk to me like this, because I needed it. I needed a counselor of some kind. Like I needed someone to give me direction, to remind me that I wasn't losing my mind. I needed it, and I didn't have it. I would have paid for this if it was made available to me. And because I believe it matters, I believe it's the truth, I believe it's helpful, I believe it's going to impact you positively if you really do the work of this breaking down yourself. Tear yourself down internally and think, why do I do what I do? And tell that answer to yourself in the journal. And I promise you, you're probably going to weep. You're going to feel disgusted writing it out, and you're going to be afraid that someone might find this. Doesn't matter. Pour yourself out in that journal. It's good medicine. It's the best thing that you could do for yourself, because you're going to find something inside of you that's the real root problem. And you keep picking at it like a scab. You won't let it heal. It's festering like an infection. And it's constantly making you impulsive. It's constantly making you self-doubt. It's constantly standing in the way of where you're trying to get to. And you have to conquer it. You have to cut it out like cancer, because it's plaguing your development and it's going to undermine your success. It's definitely going to defer your success. So you have to cut it out. But you've got to know what it is so you can identify it and then say, okay, it's a problem relationship. It's substance abuse. It's self-loathing, feeling like I don't deserve it. Who said that you don't deserve this? Who's told you that you don't deserve this? All of you deserve this. You all deserve a good, healthy, well-lived life that puts you in a position where you can bless other people. Who, even God couldn't even come down here and tell you that you don't deserve that. So why do you feel that way? Something's broken, and all you have to do is identify it and give yourself permission to heal and time to do so. And then take all of your attention away from that toxic thinking and pour it into self-improvement by doing these exercises. If all your focus is genuinely in doing this and not looking for the reward monetarily, not the immediate gratification that, oh, I'm learning how to do this, I'm going to make money real fast. I know if I do it his way, I'll probably be a better trader. But if I can start making money, I got time. I'll just be slower at getting better at it. But at least I'm making money. Wrong. Wrong. You're lying to yourself. I'm telling you, if you're thinking that way, you are lying to yourself and you're setting yourself up for failure. You're going to cause yourself to feel like you got to do more that's necessary, often, more often than it's necessary. None of you probably can consider the idea of just taking one setup per week and being content with that and living there for a couple months. No way I could do that. Come on, ICT. You're being unreasonable now. No, I'm not. Because someone that has conquered themselves with no baggage could prove to themselves that they have discipline, that they have forged a measure of self-control, that they could do that and show no impulsiveness, no impatience, no need to do more, because they know after 2 months they can resume doing whatever they wanted to do. And it was nothing but proving discipline, forging self-control, purging the impulses of the flesh, you wanting to do because you got time to do it. And in measuring the level of stress that you have endured versus what you're trying to put yourself through all the time. I promise you, you're trying to do more than what's necessary. And that is causing stress. And stress releases cortisol. And cortisol causes your body symptoms. You start feeling tingly. You get anxious, you're breathing, your breath elevates in frequency. And a faster breath causes a faster heart rate. And a faster heart rate causes more stress hormones. And left like that, nobody can think clearly like that. No one can. So why are you trying to risk a lot of money doing it? Because no one sat down with you and told you that it's wrong. No one's cared enough to tell you that there's a better way of doing it. There's a way that you can do this stuff and not be stressed out. There's a way to do this and be consistently profitable and not worry about the outcome. Because the process is the model being applied with a sane, sober approach with no stress. Stress-free trading. You're not trying to win Robin's Cups. You're not trying to be on leaderboards. You're not trying to beat the last guy's payout. You're not trying to be the #1 person followed on the internet. You're simply trying to make more than you have right now with no stress. And measure how you feel about that. What are you contemplating? What are you worrying about? What is the positive things that you're feeling right now? What are you hopeful for? All these things are KPIs. They're key performance indicators. And you put that stuff in written format in a journal that you alone read. And you refer back to it. And then you give yourself a little bit more of a threshold to reach for. That means if you're trying to make $250 in the beginning per week, now reach for $300 or $350 more a week. And you gradually, slowly increase that. Not, well, I went to the gym, I'm gonna get what's my heaviest lift I can do in weight? All right, now I'm gonna do 80% of that and start working out. Man, you're tearing yourself up. You're causing growth to be deferred and you're hurting yourself. That's not how you work out properly. Now I know some of you juice heads are gonna come at me and say, bro, you don't even work out, and you're gonna come at me and do all this and do that. You don't want me breaking out pictures of me when I was 19. Okay, I'll put you all on welfare, okay, straight up. So the bottom line is this. In closing, I want you to live a well-lived life. I want you to be healthy. I want you to feel confident about what you're doing, but not overconfidence, not arrogance, not conceitedness, not narcissism. I want you to not worry about the opinions of others, least of which mine. If you're asking me to critique your work, you're already making mistakes. I'm not in the business of doing that. I don't have the time to do it too. And you should not be doing that. You're looking for needless things. The whole point of you being here is to learn how to not be tethered to anyone. And I'm the first person on that list not to be tethered to. You want to be an independent thinker without any stress, living a very long and healthy life. And you want to be able to move through these marketplaces without any degree of stress. And this is the process you go through. You start with you. And so many people, and you know who they are. They're the people that come at us, me specifically, and they're toxic. You know, beyond a shadow of doubt, they're not comfortable in their own skin. I'm not going around looking at everybody that says anything positive about themselves, saying you're a wreck. You know, and I have reasons I can do it. I can look down on everybody else out there. I could, but that's not what I do. I don't want to do those things. I look down on everybody else's trading method because it's inferior to mine. And that sounds narcissistic. That sounds arrogant and egotistical, but it's facts. I would never leave what I'm using to go and do anything else. And when you get good at using it and knowing what it is it's capable of doing in your own hands, you will never feel that way either. It would be nonsense. It would be ludicrous to do that. No, I don't want to know. I don't want to know what the market's going to do tomorrow. Okay, I'm not going to do that. Okay. So I wanted you to just be reminded before we go into our holiday break that the time that you spend away from me bloviating into these types of things or on my videos, I want you to think about how you can build up yourself. Take the time, and it'll be close to about 90 days before I resume in February, Lord willing. Try to do those types of things I've talked about here, or make a conscious effort to try to work towards it. Reducing anything that's not good for you is a good thing. And see if you don't notice a difference in stress. You're going to wake up one day and it's going to feel like, wow, my mind is not racing. I'm not breathing as fast as I used to be when I used to put these trades on. I'd be like, and if you have those Fitbit little bands and such on your wrist and you start measuring your elevated heart rate, you're going to find that your heart rate ain't doing anything. You're calm. I would love, I've seen Trades by Matt. He had it there for a little while. I heard Tom Hugard mention he had a low heart rate a few times. Tom, with all due respect, I really want to call you on this one because I've listened to you, and some of that is actually the live streams that you were doing, where you're actually taking the positions, you're trading it, and you're doing it in front of everybody, and there's nobody can say anything bad about that. But you said that you had a 50 heart rate, but you seemed disgusted about something at the same time. I don't think that's possible. If anything, there would have been small little spurts of increased elevations in your heart rate. So I would love for live streamers, like, wouldn't you love to see Patrick Whelan to have his heart rate monitor on there and let him, I don't watch his stuff anymore. He's gotten real toxic, but the people like him. And you got this real cool cat like Matt Miller, Trades by Matt, you know him. Funded account code TBM, by the way. You're welcome, Matt. That's 2 times. You're gonna owe me some kickbacks. Christmas time. Don't forget me, bro. So the difference between those two, really, really laid back versus crank. All 100 miles an hour nonstop. Drinking energy drinks and whatnot. Crazed out of his mind. I would love to see a heart rate monitor on both of them, and then trade their largest comfortable size. And the information feedback that would come from that would be illuminating. Number one, you probably would see Patrick's heart rate already crazily elevated anyway. And Matt probably would be chill. And it would probably go up to about 100 or so if you put size on. But you probably see like 130 on Patrick. You can't do well in that environment. It's stressful. You can't think clearly. You will not be comfortable in the trade. You won't be comfortable in the trade. And if you watched him, you'll see he's never comfortable in the trade. And it's not a knock against him. It's just something that I think if he does things like this and starts investigating his own thought process and the things he does, I think it would be beneficial. It would help him prune all the things he's doing. It'd probably make him better. I know it would make him better, actually. And what do you think that would do for yourself if you said to yourself, I'm going to focus on lowering stress inducing things, filtering a lot of this kind of stuff, not putting myself in situations where it's going to be high stress, not placing all this extra effort that's required to get through something that you want to be doing in private. Your speculation, what you're doing with your money, how you're risking, how you're entering, what mode of trading you're using, whether it be my stuff. I have people listening to me, they never even trade my stuff. They just like to listen to me talk about these types of things, the psychological things. And I got respect for it. That's cool. You don't have to use my stuff. I'm just biased with it because it's mine. But I think that if you were to be honest with yourself and look at what you do constantly to yourself, you probably make it a whole lot harder on you than it's necessary. You don't have to make it an Olympic feat, but that's what social media turns it into. You get caught in these traps. You got to win the competitions. You got to get on the leaderboard. Who said that? Are you able to make money and not have to go to work? Because that's really winning. If anybody hasn't said it lately, let me be the guy to talk about it. When you don't have to work anymore, that's winning. That is winning. I don't care what anybody says about that. That's winning. And when you get to that part of your life where you're able to do that and you can do it from your own hands and the effort that you put forward in your trading, you're not going to care if anybody agrees with you or not. You won't care what anybody else thinks. You're not going to go around looking for arguments either. But when someone steps to you and says, oh, you can't do this, do you really care what people think? You're not going to. And you live a stress-free life. You laugh at them, you smile, and you wave because they're not of any importance to you. They came there to try to distract and derail you. And who cares? If you know you're living your life, you're living in your world. That's the reality of what you're doing. These perceived ideas of what you're never going to be able to achieve, those are opinions of people that are failures. They have failed already. And they want to allow the enemy to enter their mouth and tell you you're going to fail. And that's a lie because the devil is a liar. So I hope this holiday season, you have a blessed one, that you're healthy, and you come back next year. And Lord willing, if I'm able to do so, I'll have a whole new batch of whatever it is I'm going to be sharing with y'all. But I want you to have a very relaxing, enjoyable holiday season. Make it memorable. And I'm sure I'll be able to say my holiday spirits and wish you cheer and all that, given the opportunity on X and whatnot. But if I don't get the chance to say it, happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year.